What's up guys, welcome to Ride the Coffee Bean. Today I'm in Gothenburg at the Nordic Coffee Fest and we are here to have a look at what's going on, talk to a bunch of different people and learn a little bit, taste some good coffee. So let's head inside and see what's going on.
Nordic Coffee Fest is one of the biggest specialty coffee events in Scandinavia, with some of the top roasters and brands in the region. This festival is about celebrating a shared passion for coffee and highlighting the importance of education with its many talks and discussions and sustainability.
Right here they have a barista school where you can learn about like filter brewing and espresso and different things. Free 15-minute masterclasses that experts are teaching. It's really cool. One of the really cool things about this festival is that it's attempting to be climate neutral, or as climate neutral as possible. So they are tracking the electricity consumption, and everyone is bringing their own cups. They have some cups that they are giving out like these, but there are no single-use cups or single-use anything at this festival.
My colleague Charlie and I are here partly on business for Nordic Coffee Roasters, where we work, and partly to have fun and meet people. The day before the festival was the final of the Nordic Coffee Roasters Championship.
Every roaster had to sort of qualify by sending in coffee, and then in the competition itself, for the 10 people or something who qualified, you have 2 coffees you have to roast. There's a mandatory coffee, which is the same for everyone, and then there's a sort of roaster's choice. There are some requirements, it sounds like. You can only choose certain processings, and there's like a max price. But in theory, you sort of get to pick the best coffee possible within those restrictions, and then you're supposed to roast it as well as possible. And then this is sort of one part of the competition where it's like a blind audience judging. So people from the crowd get a cup and a taste of every coffee, and then you're supposed to vote for the best one. So we don't know which coffee is who is on the table. So this is sort of, I guess, one part of the judging, and then the other judging is the sort of panel of expert tasters who will taste all of the coffees blind and sort of cup them and decide which one scores the best.
What do you think?
First one's pretty nice, pretty balanced, slightly on the darker side, pretty like viscous, but nice acidity. A little bit more of like a nutty aroma, like peanuts in the aroma.
This feels a lot lighter.
Much less of the sort of chocolate, much less of the earth. This one's also pretty nice and light, a little bit sort of rougher around the edges maybe, but has a nice plurality.
The B is my favorite. I think I'm gonna vote for B.
Yeah, I think I concur.
Plant-based milks are getting more and more popular, and in Sweden they've even started making milk out of potatoes.
Dag is a Swedish innovation. It's a potato milk or drink. So it's actually quite a new product, and it's made by a professor called Eva in Lund. And she found out how to mix potato flakes with rapeseed oil and some pea protein, and then we have this milk.
That's a very interesting thing. The potato is kind of something you don't want in your coffee normally.
No, it's true, but the potato protein is quite similar to meat protein, so it's quite an interesting protein to work with. We've been on the market for a couple of years, but we have done some changes to the packaging and to the recipes, so now we're like doing a relaunch in Sweden, and then we're also entering other European markets.
And it's for coffee specifically? Or?
No, you can have it for cooking, for baking, for drinking, for smoothies. Like it's like a milk, but not a milk.
Thank you. That's interesting.
It's very neutral in the taste, and the people that like the coffee taste really like to have that in the coffee, and it's very good for foaming also and latte art, and yeah.
Very interesting to think of a potato in coffee.
Yeah, but you can also see, I mean, it's very white.
Yeah.
And this has been standing here now for a couple of hours, so it keeps very good. It doesn't sediment.
A company Nordic has worked with for a long time is Coffeebox.
So we're a Scandinavian specialty coffee subscription. We collaborate with many different roasters that roast light Nordic roasts. So every month you get a new coffee from one new roaster. And we are here because we love Nordic roasts. We love to meet our partners and our customers. We work with Scandinavian roasters. We think that is the best roast, but sometimes some guest roasters manage to sneak into our subscriptions or our boxes but they all have in common that they use the light Nordic roasting style. We have customers who love experimenting, they love tasting different things, and they really appreciate the chance to try out the new roasters. So, and we also know that they love the Nordic style. They love the notes, getting the true flavors of the origin. So yeah, that's something our customers truly appreciate.
We got to cup some delicious coffees and also got to talk to some roasters and farmers.
What are we cupping here now?
So we're cupping great coffees from Ethiopia. This is actually her own farm's coffee. So it's an anaerobic natural coffee from Ethiopia. And then we are also cupping 4 different natural processed coffees from the Yirga Shefe region that she's sourcing directly from small-scale farmers, which is kind of unique in Ethiopian scale because they own 2 to 3 hectare farms, quite small, where they pick the cherries and process them on their own farm instead of selling it as fruit or cherry on the market as you kind of usually did in the past. So these are as direct sourced coffees from Ethiopia you'll basically find in Europe, and they're great.
My name is Adenia. I'm from Ethiopia. My farm is in Guji, in Hamballa, Wereda. It is 2 hectares and it's very small, but we do anaerobic coffees only. So it is 2200 above sea level, the altitude is. So my family has a big farm. This is particularly my farm. It's very small. 2 hectares only, but my family run 85 hectares coffee farm.
Our company name is La Juela from Panama, and we do the whole process from like farming to the roastery and everything. Our roastery from the European section is in the Slovenia. For now, we have 4 of them. That's 2 of them are available online, but this one is competition level actually. And these 3 are geisha beans. This is katuai, so it's a bit different, but this is a black honey process. But all of them are like a natural and dry process.
We are Nordic Roasting Co. We are a small roaster in Copenhagen, and we want to talk little about fermentation, and we want to talk a little bit about coffee that we fermented with my friend Lucho, and something that we're working together with Wilton Benitez, probably the best producer today in Colombia. So basically we bring 2 coffees here. We bring one for the competition. There is a process that Wilton doing for us. One of the requirements for the competition was a wash coffee, but what he doing for us, he did a little thermochuck. A thermochuck is mean when we sterilize the cherries, we pick up the cherries. Before, we want to have high concentrations of sugars in the cherries. So we're asking the people to pick up the coffee when it's not been raining at least for 3 days. So in that way, we can get the cherry with a high concentration of sugar. And there we take it to the plant. We sterilize, ubilize, and ozone, and there we put the coffee in a hot water for 1 minute and take it out in a cold water. And there we call it thermochuck. And there we just depull the coffee and let it in the tank for 72 hours fermented. And there is we're doing a wash process and dry. But this is the wash. I had something more funny here, more funky. There is basically, when we pick up the cherries, we're doing a double fermentation. We sterilize again, so we can control the fermentation. And there we put the cherries in an aluminum tank for 98 hours. After these 98 hours, we extract all the juices. And when we depull the coffee, we add these juices again to the coffee and let it ferment for 48 hours more. And when we take it out, we just lucky that we have amazing dry machine that we can control all the time the dry for 72 hours. And that's what create the flavors that we have. And the reason we want to bring this to here is to show to the people that it's not only about the variety, but if we know as a farmers what we can do very good in the farm processing, we can also get a lot of more flavor. And this is, of course, adds value to the coffee. Granja is not just a coffee producer. Granja is a school. Granja is one of his goals is actually teaching other farmers and add value in the coffee chain.
My name is Roger Gonzalez, and I represent El Placer Coffee Farms. Our farms are located in Quindío, and in Huila. We produce really high quality coffee. Right now what we're doing is direct trade. We export our coffees from Colombia, we import them in Europe, where we later on we ourselves we distribute to our customers. If you guys want to learn more about what we do, you can follow our journey in Coffee Farms El Placer in Instagram or elplacerfarms.com, and also check what Ken is doing. I think he's doing very good content. Check him out and check Bulk Coffee out as well.
We started 8 years ago, and we wanted to cut like the middleman between the producers and the roastery. So that's what we're doing. We try to make the producers superstars and provide them with what they deserve.
We learn more about some of the new smaller coffee roasters on the market as well.
So this is the Stronghold S7X roaster. It's an electric roaster. The most important thing here is that you don't have one heating element, you have 3 heat sources. So you have conduction, convection and radiant heats, which gives you any possible outcome. It's only creativity that sets a stopper here. Max capacity is 850 grams. It's for small roasts. It's for probably a little bit more expensive roasts, or if it's something you probably would want to have in the coffee shop on top of a counter or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So this is our P3000 production roaster. It's designed for high consistency and high efficiency, and also easy maintenance. So in order to do this, we have done some design changes compared to the normal roasters, where you don't have a normal window where you can see the coffee. We have a solution where we have a camera on the inside, and we also don't have a dryer because we want the whole drum to be very consistent between the two sides of the drum. In order to ensure the efficiency, it is a hot air roaster, and you can roast good coffee down to 4.5 minutes. And the batch size is around 3 kilos, where you can roast at minimum 25 kilos a month.
Another long-time collaborator with Langøra is rRebel.
rRebel Coffee Works is importer. The heart in our business is La Marzocco machines, which we've been importing for 15 years. We used to be named Espresso Specialisten. Now we changed the names 2 years ago to rRebel. We are head offices in Oslo, Copenhagen and Stockholm. So we import espresso machines, we have grinders from Matzer and from Hemro Group, so Malkönig and Ditting. And we also have a lot of brewers, we have Mod Bar, we have Pour Steady, Tone. So we have a lot of cool, we try to have the equipment that makes a difference in the cup, that's our goal. So if there's something out there that's really improving the results that you get when you're brewing, we're mandatory or obligated to try that equipment and see if that could fit in our portfolio. So now we're doing a big stand. We have our home section. We have a barista station where we have grinders that you can test. We have the mod bar with scales built in. We have some cool tone brewers. And then also right here we're doing the True Artisan Cafe. So we're inviting in roasteries that we love, and we want to give our stand to them. So they get a few hours on our stand with the best, newest machines, and then they get to present their coffees to our audience.
And this was the reason Charlie and I came down here, to represent Langøra at the rRebel stand. We had so much fun serving our coffees and talking to all the people that came by.
Oat milk. We often have either Guatemala or Peru or like Colombia. One of those is always in our assortment. Now the festival is unfortunately coming to an end. People are starting to go home, and I am too full of coffee now. But this has been very fun. I would absolutely recommend coming to this place, the Nordic Coffee Fest, or any other coffee fests somewhere else if you have the chance. And we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
The winner of Best Roaster 2025 is your local coffee shop. Here we go. And again, for second place on the huge
Plant-based milks are getting more and more popular, and in Sweden they've started Plant-based milks are getting more and more popular, and in Sweden they've started making potato milk. Plant-based milks are getting more and more popular. Plant-based milks are getting more and more popular, and in Sweden they've even started making milk out of potatoes. It seems like the more funky and fruity coffees are becoming more and more popular, and many are experimenting with different methods of fermentation. And many are experimenting with different methods of fermentation.